Hello and welcome to episode 183 of the Field to Geeks podcast. I'm Josh.
I'm Mitch.
And I'm Jonah.
Wow, I haven't introed this show for a long time. It's good to be back. Yeah, I did not just do that before this take. So, yeah, great start to the show here.
It feels weird without Bill being on because I always have that awkward silence as to who's going to go next.
Yeah. Well, one of these days we'll be in person and we'll be able to look at each other or talk before and be like, "You go first" or whatever. Yeah, that's always.
I'd like to think that Bill and I could still pull off the awkward silence every time.
Just do it on purpose. Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
why not?
Even if staring at one another.
Oh, you talking to me? What? Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that day will come soon, for sure. We're recording tonight. This is a Monday, the 28th of February. We're going to do it tomorrow night, which is Tuesday. But a little movie called The Batman is coming out, and I selfishly got tickets. I got lucky. I went on the Palms Theater, which has IMAX around us in the Waukee area of Iowa. I just happened to, I don't know why I've been putting it off getting tickets because I'm super amped to see it. These clips they keep introducing, I just finally had enough. I'm like, I get my tickets. So I got to the IMAX and, if it didn't work, I was going to go elsewhere. So it wasn't like going to ruin my plans. But it just happened to give me two seats, right next to each other. And I think they were the last ones, like, decent. The rest were, like, on the floor. This is IMAX, so I would hate to be up front for that 80-foot screen. That's just nuts. I can't imagine. I don't even know why they put seats that close, but all the other seats were separate. So, yeah, anyway, I got the tickets and been super excited ever since. And, of course, today the reviews have come out. I've only heard the spoiler-free ones. I don't really know if there's a lot of spoiler ones out there, but that's sadly, it's a good thing to see these movies as soon as possible because you're excited for it, but also it's because you don't want to get spoiled by, social media or YouTube, because, a lot of them like to use thumbnails showing like for instance, Spider-Man No Way Home is coming out very soon to digital, and they've already gotten clips on YouTube. So if you haven't seen anything, you're getting spoiled right now. So some of it's just excitement to see it soon, and other reasons is, I don't want to be spoiled. So I know we just talked before we started recording, Jonah. You're seeing it like a week from now, correct?
Yeah, next Tuesday we'll be going to see it, and then so I will. And I'm off social media.
Good. Yeah.
I'm off.
I noticed I couldn't get a hold of you.
Yeah. I'm off Facebook and Instagram and Snapchat, and I'm taking an extended break from that. And actually, it feels really good. It feels really good.
I'm sure.
To not care what everyone else is having for dinner or what their dog did, or
right.
I really like not knowing.
You're just living your life. Yeah, right.
Yeah, so I don't know if I'll ever get back on that stuff, but I'm enjoying the time off.
If I didn't use it for the show, promoting it and all that stuff, I don't know if I'd be on it. Just the phone in general, putting it down, takes a lot of weight off my chest.
Yeah, and I found, and I can't speak, I'm sure it didn't happen to everybody, but during COVID, I got to a part where it started to control my life and my behavior and the way that I was, like things that I was doing, and didn't like it. And so,
sure.
Yeah, I kind of fell down that rabbit hole, and I clawed my way out, and I feel good about it. So I don't want to go back down it.
Yeah, I understand. And it gets kind of weird when you're checking out anything on Google, like, product wise, and all of a sudden you're in Facebook and it's pulling that product up, and it's like, wow, I'm really being monitored here.
Right.
You're a target to pretty much everybody out there. But going back to the Batman, Mitch, when do you plan on seeing it?
I don't know yet.
When it comes out on home video.
No,
I'm kidding.
No, I'll eventually see it. I'm just so busy right now.
I know. There's so many films out.
Well, right. And I mean, for the most part, if there's a movie that I want to watch, I'll just watch it on like HBO or something like that. But I will eventually see it.
Sure.
It probably won't be this week, but I'll eventually see it.
Cool. Yeah. Clips out there are amazing. I've seen every clip like maybe 5 times. It's just I just can't wait any longer. I want to see it.
Yeah. Now, Josh, do you get to a point where you start to avoid like the clips or like because you look at a film like Morbius, which has 3 trailers out there. So at some point things are starting to get spoiled.
Yeah.
Do you limit yourself on how much exposure you have to a film before you go in and watch it?
No.
Or do you want to kind of take it all in first?
Well, I don't know. It's been a bit. I can't remember if it was the Last Jedi. I might have just not cared about the spoilers before I went in. That might have been the film I didn't really care about. Usually, yeah. I mean, I'll watch clips. I try not to. But if they look so damn good and, I just hear about it, I'm like, I gotta check it out. But I try not to get spoiled too much. I mean, usually I'm able to see it right away, so I won't be spoiled. But yeah, if I had to wait longer, I don't know if I might just give in to like, just tell me what happens. I still want to see it, but it's like, I can't wait any longer, because I also like to hear discussions on, from critics and stuff, YouTube people I listen to, what their take is on it and how they dissect things and all that. So yeah. I usually try pretty damn hard to avoid things. I think Endgame was the last movie I was really trying to, avoid. That was such an event. And maybe Spider-Man No Way Home, aside from the trailers and stuff.
Yeah, and Marvel always does such a good job of keeping a lot of that stuff really, close to the chest.
Yeah.
Where they only show you the first 10, 15 minutes anyway.
Yes.
In a trailer. So you're not really getting much.
Yeah, and they'll even omit things out of the trailer or vice versa, just to throw you off, which I think it's refreshing. When Andrew Garfield kept denying he wasn't going to be in No Way Home, everyone after the fact was like, oh my God, he lied to us. But it's like, you know what? People have to be lied to anymore, otherwise it won't be, you'll get no surprises. You'll just be like, oh, here they come. I knew this, but yeah. I
think No Way Home was a pretty given that you were going to see somebody. I mean, the stuff that leaked online was just too like, okay. And
yeah.
I mean, even the last trailer that they had, that they accidentally made the boo-boo of the lizard getting smacked in the face.
Yeah.
And then the U.S. version, they quickly cut that out. I mean,
yeah,
it was a pretty easy tell.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, it didn't affect my viewing
Sure.
because I was just like, okay, cool. They're probably going to be in there, but
Yeah.
how are they going to get them in there? And
Right.
that was the fun part of watching. And that to me it didn't spoil anything, that I knew that they were going to be in there.
Right.
And I don't know about you guys, but when I saw that in the theater, I always enjoy it when this happens. There was people like cheering loudly when those characters came on, and it doesn't happen a lot in movies where people are like audibly cheering.
No, it's always fun when it's like genuine, It's not like forced or anything. Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
Same with Daredevil when he made his appearance. I mean, everybody was going nuts.
Which it breaks my heart, because I don't know if you guys have heard lately, but Charlie Cox, he said his experience in the theater was the opposite. No one cheered, and it bummed him out. And now everyone's like, we gotta send so much love to him, knowing that we all were so excited. I mean, that was an applause, and the movie I saw, or the theater I was in.
The door for a lot of Netflix originals to come in, so it allows Kingpin to come in,
right.
That whole storyline, which I don't personally think they're done with. It allows the Punisher to come in, which I've heard that they're in talks for. I mean, those are all excellent series,
right?
And I think maybe I'm just speaking for myself, but I feel like they all ended way too soon because this was coming down the pipeline, and they were just desperately hoping that people would still be as excited when they made their appearances that they would be when they were watching it the first time around.
Yeah, and I think that could be true. It is still a mystery as to what they will take. They probably will cherry pick the good stuff out of those shows. All the series they did. I know they're coming off of Netflix and they're going to Disney Plus, I believe. So it still doesn't mean they're accepting all of those shows as canon, because they also have the Fox, X-Men films and so on. But with the multiverse of madness coming, all these dimensions, basically they're all canon in their own ways. So, they can still cherry pick. Like that Daredevil we saw could still be a variant, but could also have the Kingpin, and maybe some recasting would explain why.
Yeah, we could probably get a decent Iron Fist if they were to recast.
That'll probably,
who knew how to fight.
Yeah. I think that'll be the one thing they will definitely try to redo. I never did see that. I saw a little bit of Luke Cage, and I liked the first season of Jessica Jones. I just never got back to it. And Punisher as well, actually. I've only seen the first season of Punisher, but Daredevil is a show I saw all the seasons. That was the first show on there.
Yeah, I think Punisher I watched like 2 or 3 times, like just because I'm such a big Punisher fan.
Yeah.
And that was probably the best version of that character that I'd ever seen on any screen.
Yes.
And so I watched that one several times.
Perfectly cast too, because he has a face that's just been through beatings, and he's still a good looking guy, but he's been rode a little bit, in the face, and when they first announced his casting, I was like, that's genius. I never would have thought of him as the Punisher until they cast it. And I was like, yeah, duh. Why didn't I think of that? Right. I really enjoyed that.
As dark as they went with the Punisher, I mean,
yeah,
there was some definite love to the character there.
Yeah.
And a deep understanding of all that.
Sure.
I think. And that's why we were all sad that it got cut so short. It's just like,
right.
Okay, what the hell is Netflix doing? But we at the time, I think Iron Man 1 or 2 was out.
Maybe? Yeah. 08 was Iron Man. Yep. First Iron Man 08.
People are pointing to Iron Man 2. Tony Stark having his smartphone, and the Illuminati app was in there. I mean,
all those Easter eggs. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, if true, then Marvel's had this thing planned out like eons ago. Like they've got years.
Hats off to them if they did, because it's like effortlessly. When a lot of people were upset about. A lot of people like WandaVision, but they thought it was going to be something else. But that necessarily isn't true, because this multiverse of madness could be something that explains every person's criticism of the show. Every criticism we've had can be easily explained now, if the writing's good and the plan, of course.
And I think I don't know if they necessarily had all of this planned out, but they probably had a loose idea as to where they wanted to go with it. And they did a really good job of not painting themselves into any corners to where it had to be like a full-out retcon to change something, or they had to, ignore the continuity. They did a really good job of leaving themselves open to take some of these different routes with their storytelling,
right?
Like a multiverse, and introducing the space stuff, which is really out there, but they did such a good job of integrating it to the point where now they can do anything, and it's not going to seem too far to left field.
Right.
It's just going to be like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
The Eternals, that kind of got me. That kind of like maybe it was, I think it was so much so soon. Like gradually. You accepted aliens, right? Iron Man was so realistic. I mean, for what it is, it's obviously, we don't have suits like that. Yeah. But, you had Loki and the Time Variant Agency, multi-dimensional worlds, and then you had the Eternals. So it was really, for me, still hard to grasp those ideas because of, another idea just came before. So, but as a comic book fan, I'm sure a lot of people understand how these all coexist, all these, crazy ideas, with
Eternals was a weird one for me because it was one of those movies I wasn't excited about it because I don't really know the characters.
Yes.
I'm not a big fan of the property. And then the movie itself I thought was decent. I thought it was okay. I thought it was a little long in parts. I thought I liked the kind of the sort of the twist. And then I was just kind of let down because of all of the characters that they introduced, like my favorite is the Black Knight.
Oh, sure.
We kind of get just like a glimpse of him at the end.
Yes.
But I was kind of hoping to actually see him suited up and do something. So I guess I'm excited to see what they do with him next, but I don't need to revisit those characters again ever, I guess.
And you're talking about what's his face from Game of Thrones, right? The very end credit scene.
Kit Harington's character, right. Dane Whitman.
And then, then that other voice, which I didn't know till I left the theater, like that was Blade. Like, okay,
I just assumed it was Nick Fury. I wasn't paying that close.
Yeah, maybe I thought that too. Yeah. I was like, oh gosh.
So Nick Fury's recruiting Black Knight to the Avengers, which makes sense because Black Knight was an Avenger anyway.
Right.
And so that's just, I didn't think much of it. And then I think it might have been you that told me, like, oh yeah, Blade. And I was like, oh, all right, well,
yeah.
I didn't recognize the voice as Blade because if it was Wesley Snipes.
It's not Wesley Snipes, no. Yeah.
But it's not Wesley Snipes, so I didn't recognize it as Blade.
I'm anxious about MCU's take on Blade. You know, I know his first introduction, he was very, like his costume was like very 70s. I think that's when he came into the comic world. Like he had purple outfit or something. So I wonder if they'll try to maybe give him like some kind of purple in his outfit. Not like too much, but just kind of honor that. And Snipes.
And I don't know if his outfit was actually purple or if they were using that color to portray the color black, because
it's true, yeah,
more so than using the color black itself, they might have been using purple. So I don't know if his outfit was actually purple or not.
It'll be interesting to see how I think a lot of people still want the Snipes look. I'm sure Marvel will do that, but they'll do it, they'll put their twist on it, and I think it'll be pretty cool.
The problem is that you're taking a very well-known character that had a 3-movie story arc and now trying to integrate it into a Avengers. I mean, all we know right now is Avengers, right? And the other thing that I'm thinking is, okay, Eternals. That rocked the boat for a lot of people. They were like, I really don't like that. But let's get a couple more movies in and see what makes more sense. Because I have a feeling that movie ties together a lot of things that we don't even know about and coming up.
Right.
Yeah. Do you guys think we will get a Blade cameo in Morbius?
Oh, I don't know.
Very possible. Very possible, but if so, it would be at the very end, and it'll mention Blade. That's about it.
And if you're going to give me a Blade cameo in Morbius, give me the rest of the Night Stalkers too. Give me Hannibal King and Frank Drake, and do like a whole Midnight Suns thing. I don't know if you guys read Midnight Suns back in the 90s when they reintroduced. So it was a tie-in between, it was like Ghost Rider was really the only ongoing series at the time. And then they brought back Morbius, they brought back the Night Stalkers, the Darkhold Redeemers they brought in, and they had kind of a Midnight Suns crossover, and then these series kind of proceeded on their own for a bit. But
that's cool.
Bringing in Morbius, I mean, they could totally do something like that, and that would be great.
But I have a feeling that Morbius, because it's Sony still, is going to be, who knows? Because I know that we got a lot of Spider-Man, but, now they're, with that whole ending, I'm really thrown for a loop, because I almost feel like that was a 3-story arc. They're done with it. And now doing the Multiverse of Madness gives them a new opportunity to bring in a new Spider-Man.
Right, or an existing one we haven't seen, or a Miles Morales, for instance. They could throw that in. But casting, you would think we'd hear about it by now, because I think Multiverse of Madness, I'm pretty sure it's wrapped filming. It's due out very soon.
It comes out. Yeah, it comes in May.
Jeez.
And, if you go to the IMDb page, though, they only have 10 actors listed.
Good, they should.
And the only spoiler thing out there, when we talk about the trailer, is Patrick Stewart, and they don't even say who he's playing. It's just Patrick Stewart.
Right.
He's a variant of himself, though.
Probably.
Because he's not the canon X-Men series. So he's coming in because he's a part of the Illuminati, and the Illuminati are basically saying what you did, Doctor Strange, is upsetting the time continuum. So it's basically like the TVA, but with mutants.
Right. Yeah.
So the question is, are we going to get what is that? Not Supreme Iron Man or whatever. We're going to get
Tom Cruise
version of we're going to get a version of Wolverine, which has already been confirmed. Not Hugh Jackman Wolverine, but somebody different.
Yeah.
Which Iron Man has to play into that in some way, because all of a sudden we're seeing Ultron's army, right?
Yeah.
So
and they look badass too. Anyway. I mean, we might as well start talking about the Doctor Strange trailer.
Yeah.
We've already started, so go.
Yeah, there's so much going on in that second trailer. I had to watch it like 4 times, and I kept pausing it because I was like, all right, who's that?
Yeah.
Who's that? There's so much going on. Like, I still can't. All right, the flaming guy that Scarlet Witch is fighting. Who is that?
So that's like, they're saying now 2 people. So one of them is
like 2 possibilities, Mitch?
No, it is 2 people.
Oh,
so one of them, they're saying one of the shots that you see, because they have the same similar powers. One of them is that lady that was in WandaVision. That had her powers.
Oh yeah.
The second guy is He Who Remains, and that's in his suit. So it's not the Iron Man that we're thinking of, but it's the He Who Remains and that lady.
Okay. All right.
Oh, okay. So wait, is that a version of Iron Man? Is that what that is? He Who Remains.
He Who Remains was in the TVA. You remember he was... God, what's the name of that guy? He'll play a bad guy here soon, but he was the character that basically Loki meets at the very end that talks about the different iterations of time.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
And I can't remember. He actually has a name.
I'll obviously edit this typing out. Yeah, Kang the Conqueror.
I think you should leave all that in.
You leave it all in? Yeah, Kang the Conqueror. That's what you're referring to, right, Mitch?
Yep.
Okay. Yep. Yeah, he's got noticeable aliases. Iron Lad is one of them. So I wonder if that's...
Did you ever read Young Avengers? That was a great series.
I did not. No, I'm so behind.
You got to read Young Avengers. It's such a good series, and that's where Iron Lad is introduced.
Nice. Yeah. No, I know. There's so many. Sadly, with all these films, that's like my first introduction, and then I Google the hell out of it and like, oh wow, cool. So I've got to catch up. But yeah, this movie's gonna be wild. As long as they do it right, you don't want them to just shoehorn in all these cameos. But yeah, with the Illuminati, you can go crazy. Like, put a Wolverine in there. Like, back in the day, there's supposedly talks. This is like when they wanted to do an X-Men back in the 80s or maybe late 70s. Bob Haskins they wanted for Wolverine, I guess. And if Roger Rabbit,
Mario.
Yes, but back in the day, he was thinner and stuff, and more hairy. Like, and he's short, so like it was really. Someone did some fan art. It would have been great, but obviously back then it just wasn't the right time. But
who would be your ideal casting for Wolverine now?
Ooh,
I want someone short. I like Hugh Jackman,
right?
But I didn't really know much about the character, like what the expectations were before he came on. But yeah, I never want to take away what he brought to the part. Big fan desire is to have what's his face from Kingsman, played Elton John as well. Is it
Taron Egerton?
Yes, I think he would be great. A lot of people have kicked around Daniel Radcliffe. Good. Yeah,
I think he could be good, but I think Clint Eastwood's son.
Oh,
Scott Eastwood?
Yeah. You get a better deal probably than Suicide Squad. I don't know if you heard about that, but the Ayer cut supposedly got a lot of his character on there. And so he turned down the sequel to, the Suicide Squad. I don't know how the hell they're going to bring his character back. I mean, spoiler, he was like right by a bomb when it went off. So not sure how you recover from that. But I'm sure they would have been clever with it. Who knows? Maybe he mutated into some creature, but
You want my weird answer? But
yeah.
I still love this idea. Johnny Galecki from The Big Bang Theory.
Wow, that is interesting. Maybe. You'd have to bulk up, though. I mean, I don't know. Is he kind of a fit guy? I don't remember.
I think he... So, I don't know if he is currently, but he can get there. He's been there before.
Yeah. Give him the Marvel diet. He'll get there.
Yeah. But he just has this look. Here, I'm going to... yeah. I'll screenshot you what I'm like.
Okay.
Like, just his face.
I think I see it.
Stature.
Like, yeah.
He's short. He's only like 5'5".
Right.
And I think he could do it. Like
maybe
I said,
he'll be cheaper.
He's like the long shot, but
yeah, that is interesting. Yeah. What about you, Mitch? Any ideas you have?
You know, it may be better just to cast a nobody, like they did with Hugh Jackman, because I feel like if you get somebody that already is well known, there's going to be a problem, and they're going to be like, that's not Wolverine, that's so-and-so from this movie, right?
Right.
So, like, Hugh Jackman was like, oh, that's Wolverine, because we didn't know anything outside of, when you know, all of his Australian stuff. And a lot of his stuff came from, like, being in plays and things like that. So
classically trained actor.
We almost need another, like, nobody to play him.
Schedule-wise would be great.
I've heard Daniel Radcliffe.
Yep.
Which I don't agree with. I don't. His body type isn't one that could get that beefy.
He could get there, but it's the face. I mean, he just doesn't have a Wolverine face to me. I see Johnny Galecki being.
Did you see that picture I just sent you, Josh?
Yeah. Yep. Oh yeah, he's a hairy bastard too. He can be. So yeah, you could. You could definitely. Hey, I mean, he could do it. He could do it. I mean, shit though, isn't he? Isn't he about Jackman's age by now? He's maybe not. No, he's younger, obviously, but not to say. I mean, he looks age-wise. He looks great. Like, yeah, I think totally could work. They really need to go to the source material more. Give us the Wolverine from that. But yeah.
And do we want to go somebody that's a little bit shorter?
I do.
The height.
Right? I think it would be really cool for fights, especially. Just batshit crazy. Not like looking down at the bad guys or anything like that. I mean, they can use camera trickery and stuff, but I do like that idea. Like he's shorter than Scott Summers, and all that. So
well, can we finally get a Scott Summers that's a leader?
Yeah.
That'd be nice.
I'll say one thing about Dark Phoenix that was kind of enjoyable. There was a fight on a train. They were all doing their own fights, fighting other people with their powers, and that was a great X-Men moment. I thought the guy playing them did a decent job, but yeah, I don't really think it was the actor's fault. I think it was the material, and yeah, he went. The original Cyclops was James. Is it Marsden?
Yeah, James Marsden.
Just went out like a bitch in Last Stand. That was terrible what they did to him.
Bryan Singer really didn't know what to do with the character. He didn't really know what to do with him, and so he was so boring.
Yeah,
he was not a leader. I mean, he had a few quips, but I think the main focus was Wolverine.
It became that, because Jackman was so damn good, and it became the Wolverine films kind of, and. And
it was the kid from Ready Player One that played him in the latter series of movies.
He was decent, but they just
Ty Sheridan.
Yes, he did a pretty good job, but I still like James Marsden. I like the actor and I like the look. I just what he was given, he definitely could have been, more there.
Well, unfortunately, James Marsden is only allowed to play opposite. CGI.
No shit, right? Hop, Sonic 1, 2.
Yeah, that's kind of embarrassing.
Hey, I mean, if it works, I mean, he's done some good shit too. I mean, he's been in some stuff, but yeah, and I think Last Stand that wasn't directed by Singer, and I think they were doing Superman Returns at the time, and he was in that film, so I think they had to get rid of him so he could, he wasn't available longer.
That was a Brett Ratner that did. Last Stand.
Best thing about that movie was the trailer. That's it. I walked out of there like, one, it wasn't long enough, and two, why in the third act of all these films they kill everybody you love practically? It's just stupid. But
Days of Future Past though was a hell of a movie.
That was a great comeback, and I really thought we were off to the races again, and nope, we stalled. But I mean, got some great actors cast, but they're just again wasted. So.
Well, number one, they took a great actor, but wrong for the role, and stuck him in there as Apocalypse. And Apocalypse should have been like a Brolin kind of thing, I mean, at least they made Brolin true to character.
Well, or at least do camera tricks like the mind scene of them fighting. That was Apocalypse. Right. I mean, he was huge, and it's like, where was that, guys? Like.
Yeah, I mean, where was the muscles? Where was the look and the feel of the costume? And,
right, exactly.
So it was, because I had to look it up, because I was like, who played Apocalypse? It was Oscar Isaac, the guy that played Moon Knight that played Apocalypse. I didn't even know. I had no idea.
Well, yeah, and that's something else we can talk about. I just realized the Super Bowl trailer dropped between last show and this show, and I one thing I took from the trailer, like I'm super invested to see it. I think it's going to be maybe the very first Disney Plus show that's really like, stellar. It's on all cylinders. Like, I didn't hate the other ones, but I don't know if any of them has been really a home run yet. I think this one feels more cinematic, maybe because of the people involved. But that scene where Moon Knight, that scene where he comes down in his cape, like I love that because I am a Batman fan, obviously. So I was like, that's cool. I like that. But yeah, what do you guys feel about Moon Knight?
So I'm a huge Moon Knight fan. Always, like, ever since like reading, his collecting his series in like the 90s. I'm super stoked for this. I think the trailer looks really good. I think he looks good. I think they're playing up the kind of the psychological aspect of it, with his psychotic breaks and his multiple personalities. So no, I think they're going to do it justice. It looks really good.
That's cool. Yeah. I hope so. Luckily I don't know the material, so I guess if it fails to deliver on that front, I probably won't even know, but we'll see. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure it's going to be something special, and I wonder how far they'll go with things, but yeah. Are you excited for it too, Mitch?
I am. Yeah. I can't wait to see, although I feel like, the meme community kind of ruined it a little bit because they added their own little quips that made it sound like he was kind of like a Deadpool to a degree.
Oh yeah, it's dumb, right?
I don't think he is.
Yeah.
I've never gotten so there was a time, you go back far enough, there was a time where he was sort of a Batman light character.
Yeah.
And then they really started to play with, again, the mental illness aspect of it. And it made the character a lot more interesting. And so I think that's what they're going with here. I never got a quippy Deadpool vibe from the character whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people are thinking that that's what it's going to be. So I hope that they're not disappointed.
I bet they just saw the white eyes. And, some people just don't put much thought into things. They're like, hey, Deadpool had white eyes too. So there you go. They're Deadpool.
Yeah.
I do like the white eye thing. It looks really interesting. Like, it could really play with the mind. It seems like it's going to. Something to make you think and just kind of dissect. Like, what the hell did I just see? Like, I don't know if it'll be easy to follow. Might have to take a couple rewatches. Who knows? But man, Marvel's got a lot of cool stuff coming. Just like Thor: Love and Thunder. There's a poster that was released. I think it's legit, and that trailer should be dropping soon. And I'm almost willing to bet that the Batman this weekend, Marvel will choose that time to drop the trailer. It seems like they always drop it when DC's got something big. It's like, oh, well, let's pull this out of our ass. Here you go. Here you go, DC.
Yeah, when does the movie come out? Is it this summer or fall?
Love and Thunder?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's summer. I think it is summer. Yes.
Okay, it looks like July 8th is what I'm seeing here.
Okay, yeah.
I'm surprised we haven't gotten a trailer.
We've really gotten anything except the toys have released, and not always the toys are accurate. I get that, but I am enjoying what I've seen. Like Natalie Portman's figure looks pretty badass. It looks really close to the comic character of I don't know if she is called Lady Thor, but she's got a helmet and a mask in one, because it's supposed to be mysterious, like who she is. So I'm sure it's going to deviate a lot from the comic storyline. It's pretty dark. Like, I don't know if you've ever followed it, both of you, but Jane Foster's got like cancer, I believe, right? And she,
yes,
with the powers give her the cancer, or they slow the process, right? Is that what it does? Something like that.
I believe. Yeah, I don't remember exactly.
I don't see them tackling it that way, but I could be wrong. But yeah, there's been on-set photos, and Portman looks like she is definitely put some time in the gym.
She's getting beefy.
Yeah.
I mean, just working out. Yeah.
I'm happy, though, because it's like she gives a damn. She's not phoning this in. When they announced it at the con event, it seemed like she had trouble holding that hammer. And, it just didn't seem like she was excited to do it. But, she must be very well invested, and I think it could be really, really cool for her. She's like an action hero now, and I do like the armor, and I always loved Thor's helmet, especially in the first Thor film, and I was really bummed when they didn't keep that going, but I learned to accept it. But Loki always wore his pretty much, so I was like, oh, that first Thor film, he had that nice big helmet, and I was like, oh, that looks so badass, but chucked it right away, after the formal thing they were having in the film. And then we got something close when Ragnarok came out. He had that smaller version, pretty simple. It was like it was for battle. He lost that quick, but yeah, I wonder how long her helmet will last in the movie. You know how they do it with these stars. It's very quick, especially like Iron Man and Black Panther. It's like, it just pixelates off their face every 2 minutes or so. But
so I know several people on this podcast even we're torn on with Thor Ragnarok on the level of humor that was introduced. I liked it. I liked the level of humor, and I hope that Taika Waititi maintains that in this one.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, I
think so.
Yeah. I liked Ragnarok. It was refreshing, definitely, from the last Thor.
Well, I mean, because the Dark World was completely forgettable.
Yeah, sadly, kind of was. Yeah, there was a cool moment with Loki on the ship. They were flying out of Asgard, but they didn't even the Warriors 3. Man, I just wish they would have gotten more of their due. I think that was the only thing I didn't like about Ragnarok was it so much stuff was lost in that film. And it was kind of hard to sometimes for humor to be interjected right away. But Infinity War made up for anyone's critiques on that, because, man, the first, 5-10 minutes, probably 10 minutes, holy shit. That, when they sell off in Ragnarok, like, we're going to Earth. And on a dime, it's like, oh, despair. Everyone's getting killed and Hulk loses. And, yeah, so, but I did love... Well, I love the introduction of Hulk. He talked. He had more of a personality, and then of course we got Smart Hulk from Endgame. But Love and Thunder, I'm very excited about. I think it'd be pretty damn cool. And Guardians are in it, so it's kind of a Guardians of the Galaxy 2.5 or.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, because the film they have next, which I think is filming now, or maybe is finished. James Gunn did that. He came back as director, so I think that's the last of that. So that's the good thing about these bigger level films, is you can like Doctor Strange, for instance. Doctor Strange 2 is going to be out soon. I already felt like we got in Doctor Strange 2 just because he's shown up a couple more times, in the both Avenger films, and I love that. I think that's really cool.
Anything else on that Doctor Strange trailer that you guys want to point out? Or
I would love to see. A lot of people have been wanting John Krasinski as Reed Richards and maybe Emily Blunt. I would love, and this is not my idea. I heard it from others, and I was like, oh, I'd love to see that, but maybe he would be on the council, the Illuminati, because there are other people there. So
yeah,
that would be interesting.
The one I always think of is the one that had Reed Richards, Iron Man, Namor. I'm trying to think of who else was on it.
Xavier, right?
Professor X was always on it.
Yeah, Professor X.
Yeah.
Is Superior Iron Man always on there, or was it originally Tony Stark?
I think it was originally Tony Stark.
Okay.
I want Tom Cruise to be Iron Man for this. I think it'd be really cool because he almost was Iron Man, and it's just cool to see it in action, like a what if you will. And you can't, even if you're not a huge fan of his or whatever for any reason, you still get to see like a different take on it, and it's not like you don't have to accept it as this is my Iron Man, But I do kind of feel like maybe we'll get Chris Evans as a Human Torch again. That would be kind of cool, It
would be cool.
Just because, he's grown so much since then. Or hell, maybe Michael B. Jordan. I mean, shit, he was Human Torch as well. So I don't know if they'll bring any of those Fantastic Fours in. But yeah, man, I'm just excited. I know in the poster, there's broken glass and every piece has like an image in it. Captain Carter's shield has been found in one of those images. So I would be awesome to see...
Britain?
Yeah, well, they call her Captain Carter. He is Captain Britain, I think, in the comics. But this is like not to say there isn't one, but this is like Peggy Carter as the cat. It was one of those what if episodes, which that'd be cool to see Haley Atwell donned in the suit and with a shield. Like that'd be badass. I don't know if it'd be cool. Don't know if it'd be live action or not, because some people have thought, well, maybe they'll cross into the animated world of the what ifs, and that's just what that dimension looks like or whatever. So. Who knows? I mean, as long as it's done well, like Sam Raimi directing it, I hope he brings his old school skills to it. Not like a weathered director who's kind of like, that's
Sam Raimi did No Way Home, so.
Well, no, actually, it was John Waltz. John Waltz.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
I was gonna say, what was the last thing that Sam Raimi directed? I know.
Processing.
Was Drag Me to Hell the last movie he directed?
Did he direct or produce that? I can't remember which.
Oh, he might have just produced it. I think he directed it.
Did he?
That was actually one of those more enjoyable horror movies, I thought.
Yeah, it was. He might have. I think he directed some Ash versus Evil Dead. That's not, a film, but he did direct some episodes of that. Processing. Oh, Oz the Great and Powerful. That was 2013. I forgot about that one.
I don't even know what that is.
It was a prequel to The Wizard of Oz. It was kind of forgettable.
I never even heard of that.
But he's done a lot of TV, basically. So yeah, this Doctor Strange brings him back to a huge movie world territory. So I hope it's good. I could really see this movie being trippy as hell. I mean, I hope
the trailers and even the second trailer looks fantastic.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I hope it delivers on that. And yeah, I would love to see all these cameos as long as it's done just right. Just kind of like No Way Home was done. So yeah. That'll be great. I'm excited about that one. Hopefully it works out. Stranger Things, season 4 is coming out very soon. They released some posters. Many characters are splitting up on these posters. So it's really interesting, the artwork they're using and locations. It's also been renewed for season 5, which will be the finale or the final season, for now until these kids grow up probably, and then they'll go after it again. But yeah, what are you guys' thoughts on Stranger Things? Too soon to go or excited? All that stuff.
God, I haven't watched it since season 2. I hate to admit that.
Well, and I think
that's all right.
the time between season 4 and season 3, I think it's not doing them any favors.
No.
I think there's just been too much time in between, to where I almost need to go back and watch season 3 just to know, remember what happened.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it, and I mean, at this point, theyese kids are not even kids anymore. They're all,
I think they're parents
or close to it.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know, as they get into like season 5, if they're going to like time jump or anything like that, or
maybe
what they're going to do storytelling wise. But
yeah, I mean, we had the pandemic, so that slowed things down too. Last time I saw 3 was, I think, 2 years ago when it came out. I binged it in a day. Did not mean to, but man, that thing wore me out.
And it looks like a chunk of this one's going to take place in Russia.
Cool. Good timing, right?
Yeah, I was going to say that's odd considering the current events.
Oh man, yeah.
It is what it is.
Well, yeah, I don't want to give it away, Mitch, but yeah, you gotta see season 3. It's pretty crazy, okay. And yeah, the finale. Oh man, it's pretty awesome. But yeah, I'm excited, and I don't necessarily think it'll end, but yeah, I'm definitely for them taking. I mean, hell, maybe they'll do a movie down the road. Bring them all back. Their kids are.
That's a good idea.
Well, it's almost one of those shows where it could even evolve into like almost a type of anthology where maybe you follow some different characters doing something different.
Right.
It still kind of has the same vibe.
Exactly.
So it doesn't necessarily, not kind of like an American Horror Story, but maybe not.
Yeah.
Not quite, but I mean, there's a lot of things you could do with it beyond this set of characters that we've been following.
Oh yeah, for sure. There's a lot more things they could do, and yeah, they've been really good at introducing new characters each season. And yeah, now they have like 4 posters worth of all these characters that are on their own journey, probably all going to the same destination. But yeah, I'm super excited. I think it'll be great, and it's been cool to see these kids grow up. It's crazy that Millie Brown, is that her name? Who played 11?
I think so.
Freaking 18 now. It's crazy. It's like, man, these kids just grew the hell up quick. But she's a good actress, and yeah, they've all had Finn Wolfhard was in Ghostbusters Afterlife, and I think some others are getting pretty decent jobs. So yeah, I'm anxious to see more from Stranger Things. I think it is a good time to just end it for now. Obviously, this is like 2 years down the road probably, and who knows, maybe something else will come up. Like, we got to renew it again because how we got to explain that. Huge show, lots of success, and just captured everything great about the 80s with those type of shows and movies. I think it's a nice love letter to that time, and I definitely like when they reintroduce things that current generations are like, oh, that's cool, you had that, or some of them like to claim like they the Snap-ons are ours. Like no that's from our childhood.
90s, man.
Yeah, that was 90s for sure. Yeah, well, another thing it's wrapped and probably not coming back afterwards for a bit. Indiana Jones 5.
Yes.
Frank Marshall, the producer of all the films, the Indy films, has announced that production has wrapped, and he put like a picture of a hat that says Indy on it. So some people are like, oh shit, they're gonna call it Indy, but I think it's just a production name, hopefully. I don't know. So are you excited about another Indiana Jones? You think it'll right the wrong of the last film?
Well, if it follows the rule that all indie films have followed, the odd number films are always better than the even number. So, yes, I would certainly hope so. And it sounds like they're going back true to form and having some Nazis in the movie. So, yeah, I think it's going to be good.
I'm a sucker for the franchise. Because of that, I actually blocked the 4th out of my memory. I don't know what you guys are talking about. The 4th one, it does not exist.
It's a coaster.
So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to this 5th one.
Yeah, I hope it's a good send off. Sadly, I wish. I mean, gosh, they would have made it sooner. We probably would have got a 6th one. But Harrison Ford, he'll be 80 by the time it comes out, I think. So he's damn near close. So yeah, I mean, we don't know what's happening with this film, like if it's going to be a send off or, passing the torch, whatever. Do you guys think they should recast like a Bond, or do you think just continue the story, I guess, or just stop it?
I would continue the story, but still recast it. Indiana's not even his real name, so anyone could be given the nickname Indiana.
Oh yeah.
And so I think that it's one of those where you could easily recast it, keep, not even James Bond it, where you start all over again, but keep the story going, bring it into more modern times, where it's not necessarily about fighting Nazis. Maybe there is a Cold War aspect to it, and you bring them into like the 60s and the 70s. So I think there's a lot you can still do with it.
Sure.
Without going back to the beginning and starting all over.
Right.
Well, and I think I know a lot of people have talked about it in the past, but I don't know why I'm forgetting his name right now, but the guy who plays in
Chris Pratt.
Yes. Thank
Yep.
you.
The one that everyone wants to be the new Indiana Jones.
Yeah. I think he's got the goofiness, and he's definitely got the action ability. And I think he could pull it off extremely well.
And based on how he dresses in Jurassic World, he's got the wardrobe.
Yeah,
right. I mean, it's not a stretch.
The knockoff becomes the actual person.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe the Holy Grail juice finally kicked in, and he just, got younger. You could do that too.
Yeah, I was so glad that they didn't decide to do this with Shia LaBeouf, because
right.
No one wants to see that.
Yeah, I think a lot of people in the theater, when that hat blew away and he picked it up, in the fourth one that doesn't exist, Jonah. People are like, no, he's about ready to put it on. No. And then he grabbed it out of him, like, give me that damn hat. That was the fans right there. Like, no, not yours. I hope they bring Short Round back. I think that would be cool. Just kind of like bring it all full circle,
That would be cool.
Too bad, Connery's not with us. Still around when the last one came out, but yeah, he was well retired from that. So yeah, I'm excited. I'll definitely be there for it. I'm sure it's gonna be better than the last one. That was such a letdown, such a bummer. I was so amped to see that and couldn't believe it.
It was one of those Spielberg things where he's like, "Ooh, technology! Look what I can do," and it just didn't. Indiana's never been about, flashy CGI stuff. It's always been about practical action scenes, and that's where they made the mistake. They tried to do too much with it.
The CGI in that it really took you out of the film.
Mm-hmm.
It really was bad.
Goofy,
it
too.
It was not good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that was, Lucas, sadly, I believe, I think he had a strong push on that. Because if you look at the prequels now, I'm not talking about the writing, but just... his experiment with digital backgrounds and stuff, it really stands out now. And it's like, it just wasn't the time. And yeah, I think he wanted to interject that with that film. And also, it was a big mess behind the scenes. They went through so many scripts, ideas, and I think they all just kind of started to settle with what Lucas wanted. That's why we got the Crystal Skulls. So I hear.
It blows my mind. It blows my mind that they go through, when you say things like, "Oh, they went through all of these scripts," and then what they ended up with was that.
Yeah.
It's bananas to me.
Yeah, I think it's because Lucas didn't like those scripts, and so they're like, I think Ford and Spielberg, I feel they were just like, we just want to make this damn film. We want to bring Indy back, so yeah, we'll just do the freaking skull one, and that's what happened. But yeah, if the effects were top notch, definitely would have been easier to take. But yeah, it's just because I don't think the writing was terrible, but yeah, just the effects, that was just what took you out of it.
It was good.
Yeah.
But the effects are what really took you out of it, and the fact that they hired a damn Shia LaBeouf who was way out of his league in that type of a movie. Mm-hmm. It just didn't play well. And then, you hear about some of the other iterations that they were toying around with, like you get to meet Indy's brother was Kevin Costner. That would have been fun.
Oh yeah, that would have been super. Yeah, it would have been like another Connery moment. You know, bring a big actor in and play a sibling or relative. There's so many great ideas that never get to see the light of day, sadly, and it's always intriguing when you find out. And just kind of like, damn it, that would have been so good. Why did they do that? Yeah, I'd like to talk about the next Christopher Nolan film, Oppenheimer. This is pretty exciting to me. He's broken away from Warner Brothers. He's producing this film for Universal, so this is like a big new thing for him. It's obviously a biopic of Dr. J. Robert Oppenheimer. He was one of the fathers of the atomic bomb. Got a great quote out there. I think he's quoting someone else, but it's so haunting what he recites. And they actually used it for the Godzilla teaser trailer, and it's just haunting. And it's very effective, but it's actually a live recording of him, talking about he's become the destroyer, he's become death, something like that. Cillian Murphy, he's pretty much been in all of Nolan's films. He's playing Oppenheimer. There's a great image they've revealed of him in character. It looks great. It's black and white. I'm not sure if the movie will be black and white. That'll be interesting. I'm not sure, but
I think it would be awesome if it was in black and white.
I think it would be too. Actually, I think, well, yeah. Maybe, yeah, you would lose the colorfulness of the atomic bomb scenes, but still, it might be even more haunting to see that in black and white. So, yeah.
Well, what if it was all in black and white leading up to...
That's a good idea. I like that, like a Wizard of Oz. That would be really good, man.
Yeah.
Mitch, you need to write them right now. That was good, dude.
Yeah.
That would be, yeah.
With Nolan's love for, playing with temporal realities in his films, it's a perfect subject matter for him to take on.
Yeah,
so it's right up his wheelhouse.
It's got a big cast. You got Robert Downey Jr. I'm excited about that. Matt Damon, Emily Blunt, Florence Pugh, who was the new Black Widow, Rami Malek. He just played the Bond villain. Josh Hartnett, Jack Quaid, I don't know if you guys are familiar with him. He's a great actor.
It's Dennis Quaid's son, right?
Yes, and Meg Ryan's son. Yep. He's on The Boys right now, and he's also doing Star Trek Lower Decks. He's providing a voice for the animation, and he was in the latest Scream, which I didn't see, but heard it was decent.
I saw. Yeah, that's one of the few. I've seen quite a few movies in the theaters over the last few weeks, and that was one of them. And
pretty solid.
That franchise. The franchise is kind of a guilty pleasure for me.
Yeah.
And it is as entertaining as the rest. I mean, it did not disappoint me, but again,
first one's the best, right? I mean, would you agree? First one?
I would, because it was so different and original at the time.
It was, yeah.
And when you get to this fifth installment, it's very much like all the others.
I still want to see it, and I heard decent, and it made a lot of money, so that's good. Yeah, he was in it, so I kind of, when I saw he was in it, I was like, maybe this is pretty good. Even though he's he's just an actor, right? But I think so far he's attached himself to some good projects, so I'm sure it paid well.
I enjoyed it.
But yeah, you also got Matthew Modine in this film and Kenneth Branagh, so they're shooting this on IMAX, so that's going to be something to see. That's coming out July 21st, 2023. So it'll be super interesting because with Dunkirk, Nolan still did his own thing. It wasn't, he doesn't really make a movie by traditional standards. So I'm super interested to see his take on Oppenheimer. Like, he's going to play around with some shit, right? Because Dunkirk, I was I had to actually watch it. Craig dissect it afterwards because I didn't understand what the hell was happening. I liked it, but the whole different times, overlapping and, the futures first and the past, it was just odd. I don't know if you guys saw Dunkirk, but, it had...
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't like,
I watch Dunkirk all the time.
It wasn't in order. Yeah.
It's one of my favorites. It did take me a while. It was like halfway through the movie, and I was like, I started to piece it together, and I'm like, oh, okay, this happens here and here.
Right.
But it's one of those where I think if that was any other movie, I probably would have been really annoyed.
Yeah.
But just because of
you forgave him.
Because of the simple plot.
Yeah.
He was able to do that, and it made it just as interesting without me being lost. Now,
exactly.
Like Tenet is one that I struggle with that movie. I struggle with understanding it, and I also had a problem with, I don't know if it was the theater I was in, but when I only saw it once, and I could barely hear what anyone was saying, and the music was so loud.
Oh shit! Really?
And it made it difficult to really to follow. And then it was one of those I saw with my wife, and she's like, I didn't get it, and I was like, I can't explain it to you because I don't get it either. So right? I don't know.
Oh yeah, and that was the first film back after the pandemic. They were really hoping it would revitalize the theater and stuff, the industry, and yeah, I did buy that without seeing it, and it looks great. Yeah, I have no idea what the hell's going on. It looks fantastic. Like, it's shot beautifully. The effects are great. I love the actors. Don't know what the hell I'm seeing, and I didn't even watch it all the way through. So I need to try and see it again. But I just kind of put it in, and I was like, my brain's not ready for this right now, and so I kind of just did some other things while it played. But
yeah,
Mitch, did you ever see Tenet?
Oh yeah, I love Tenet.
Do you?
That is one of those rare movies where you got to watch it over and over again to finally make sense of it. But
I was say, Mitch, you'll have to give me like the Cliff's Notes version of it sometime.
Oh yeah.
Or maybe like we should like watch it as a group, and you can do commentary and break it down for us.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you gotta watch it several times for it to totally make sense, and then once it does make sense, you're like, wow. I mean, he starts out just as a regular guy, like doing some undercover work, and then you realize that there's like a forward and a backward to time, and that they've figured out how to do it. But in order to do it, you basically have to sell your soul and all that stuff. Yeah, it's sci-fi mixed with some real thriller stuff. It's what was Nolan's first film? What was that? Memento?
Yep. Memento.
Yeah. And there might have been one before that, but Memento was like his first big one.
Right.
Yeah, and that's the one that deals with like sleep and sleep paralysis. I mean, it goes into a real depth there, but I think in order to kind of understand where Tenet's coming from, you kind of have to have watched that movie first, just to kind of realize that things are going to jump around a whole bunch until the very end of the movie, and then it'll finally make sense.
Right. I liked what I saw, but I just was like, what the hell? What's going on? I'll just give you a call, Mitch, when I watch it again.
The visuals were good. The action sequences were good. I thought Robert Pattinson was awesome.
He's a good actor. Yeah,
it was one. I do need to watch it.
He was auditioning for Batman when they were making that movie.
Really? I know we're going back to Batman a little bit, but I think he's going to do great. I think people just need to look past those Twilight films for what they were. They were just,
I did the moment I saw him in the Harry Potter series.
Mm-hmm.
I realized that he was a far better actor than anybody that was in the Twilight series. Like, I was like, what in the hell is this? Because he's way, way better.
Twilight series was really a product of its time.
Yeah.
I don't think, as a whole, I don't think that series has aged very well.
No. A lot of good actors in it.
It was very much, but it was just very much of its time.
Yeah.
And so...
It falls within the same timeline of the Hunger Games and Divergent.
Yes.
That's the kind of the feel that they were going for, and it's funny because Divergent never made it to the three movies that the Hunger Games and Twilight and all that stuff did. But yeah, it's very love story. Lady finds himself, and there's a battle and all that stuff. But
right. And my favorite of those types of movies, based on those types of books, my favorite series was The Maze Runner.
Oh, I've never seen that one.
I think I saw the first one. It's pretty good.
I liked that series. I thought that they were good. I don't know that I saw the third one, but the first two I liked.
Yeah, I think I saw the first one, and then I think people were kind of surprised about how good it was, and then I just never got back to him. But Pattinson, he's very talented, and I think he really, to me, I don't know why, but he looked like a young Alan Rickman in Tenet. I don't know, because of his hair. It was kind of just like a blonde, just looked like a young Alan Rickman. I don't know why. I don't know if you guys picked up on that, but I was like, man, he just kind of, if he had a beard, I would put him in Die Hard. I think I would.
All I can think about anytime I hear Alan Rickman now is that whole Family Guy episode where he's calling his own voicemail. Hello, you have reached Alan Rickman's phone at 555-2424.
Yes.
Don't forget to take the meat out of the freezer so that it can thaw properly.
That's awesome. Oh man, he's missed. I wish he was still with us. Jesus. That's hilarious. I would like a number 4 large fry, large Coke.
Yeah.
And what kind of toys do you have?
Hello, this is Alan Rickman.
Is John McClane there? Yes.
Yes.
You guys, you guys big Oscar fans? You watch it?
Oh, no, I haven't watched the Oscars in years. I don't like award shows.
Yeah, kind of done with them.
I didn't even know there was an award show on last Sunday.
Oh, the SAG? Yeah.
Yeah, was that even televised or no?
I think it was, but it was on cable, I believe. Will Smith won. That's great for King Richard. I'm happy for him. I think he's a great actor, and yeah, he's been nominated 3 times now, I think, for an Academy Award. So yeah,
there we go.
Thing is, if you watch all the award shows, it kind of gives away who's going to win what, at the Oscars, and sometimes it doesn't. But
the last Academy Awards show I watched was when Fargo won.
Oh my! What?
Wow.
That's like 94.
96, maybe?
Maybe, yeah. Wow. Okay. Well, you kind of left at a good time then. Everyone complains it's always a long show, so the Academy finally decided to make some changes. And now they're going to present awards for 8 categories, pre-taped, and then they will edit them down and throw them into the live broadcast. People are in an uproar about it because, it kind of sucks if you're one of those categories, I guess. But, for instance, it's 8 categories: documentary, film editing, makeup and hairstyling, music, production design, short film, animated, short film, live action. So, their goal is to make the show shorter. So I understand them trying something new. Last year's Oscar and probably years before, the ratings have just been going down, and they haven't had a host for a while. So they're finally having a host come back, but they have 3 hosts: Amy Schumer, Wanda Sykes, and Regina Hall. So,
that's another reason I won't watch it. Don't get me started on Amy Schumer.
Yeah, I was kind of shocked myself, but yeah, I don't know. I'll always see the Oscars. That's kind of like my Super Bowl, but yeah, it gets predictable, and it can be anyway. But yeah.
Well, and I think the problem is that there's a lot of these movies that we're all kind of sitting here going, what? Why did that one win? Mm-hmm. And it's so artistically out of the norm for a lot of the average moviegoers that we're just like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Or they became so self-deprecating about, the fact that all these celebrities were basically going to a show to pat each other on the back, that it was just kind of like, all right, cool.
Yeah. Well, if some don't win, they leave. So
yeah,
it usually is especially for Best Picture. It's a bunch of movies I've never heard of.
Right.
Yeah. Occasionally, there's some that are popular that make it through, and you're like, oh yeah.
Rarely.
I love Titanic. Yes.
Here's a movie that made over $1 billion, but this little noir film, that's the one that we should really pay attention to.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I do like the award show. It's my favorite one. I don't know, recently it is because there's so many other ones that probably do it better, but yeah, it's you always scratch your head at some of these films because the other thing is you don't get the opportunity to see them because they don't really make it into the mainstream. You kind of have to go find them. And, you know, some of them just get way into things and you're just kind of like, what the hell? Why did this win? You know?
Yeah. I'm looking at the nominees for this year's. Mm-hmm. I've seen 2 of these movies.
So that's what you're voting for then.
So what are the movies that are up for Oscar? Do you know?
So for Best Picture, it looks like Nightmare Alley, which I watched that with Bradley Cooper.
Deserved?
Don't Look Up.
Okay.
Which was the Netflix one with DiCaprio.
I like that one.
I loved that movie. I thought that movie was great.
Yeah,
Dune.
Yep.
Dune
which I didn't end up even watching Dune, so it looks good. I want to see it. I just haven't committed.
I enjoyed it. I saw it on IMAX. It was good.
Drive My Car. Don't know what that is.
Right.
Belfast. I saw the trailer for that.
That's supposed to be pretty good. Yeah.
Licorice Pizza.
Heard mixed things on that.
Paul Thomas Anderson film, which I really got to be in the mood for Paul Thomas Anderson, and I'm not usually. Power of the Dog. Not heard of that one.
Haven't either.
West Side Story, which I've heard of it. King Richard, and Coda. I think Coda was the one that won at the SAG Awards, wasn't it?
Yes, I believe so. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I've seen like 2 of those movies.
A lot of those are like kind of mainstream, you know, stream.
A couple of them are, yeah.
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 So they're easy to see. HBO, I mean, a lot of those are on streaming services right now, so you have the benefit of seeing them before the award show.
Yeah.
So that does help. I'm excited. I'll see the show. I wonder if it'll be more entertaining having it be shorter. I'm not quite sure. Yeah, the heyday.
Just make them fun again, you know?
Yeah, I miss, Billy Crystal in his prime, you know, those were great,
right?
Hosting gigs. And lately they've just had some hosts that just didn't really work. So Drive My Car, that's supposed to be really good, actually.
Is that, I'm assuming is that a foreign film, I presume?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
It is. Yep. I think it's Japan, maybe. So yeah, They're crossing over. Yeah, I haven't had the opportunity to see a lot of those, but so yeah, obviously there's been uproar about, you know, omitting these other categories, but yet they're going to be putting them back into the show. It's just, you know, they're just edited down for time, and you know, it'll make the show go by quicker, I believe. But yeah, it's coming March 27th, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on ABC. So maybe Jonah will tune in. We'll find out. We'll put on a cliffhanger there for everyone. We'll pay him to see it, make it his opinion. But yeah, Jonah, you want to talk about a little known franchise, I guess, called the Transformers?
Yeah, so just that the Transformers Rise of the Beasts film was supposed to come out this summer. It's been pushed back to June of 2023, which I think before we started recording, I think I said I'm probably the only one that's like super excited about that. Yes, The Last Night is really hard to watch.
Yes.
But I enjoy the majority of the Transformer movies. I like the first one. The second one was a victim of the writer's strike, so that's kind of a different topic altogether.
Yeah.
I liked Dark of the Moon. I even didn't mind Age of Extinction. As with any Michael Bay film, it's over bloated. But The Last Night was just unwatchable, sadly. Bumblebee, I thought Bumblebee kind of was a nice course correction.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope that with this one they kind of stay on that same trajectory.
Yes.
We'll see. I'm a big fan of the Beast Wars property itself. I mean, I've got the tattoo to prove it. It's what got me into Transformers in the first place, because I was not usually like a huge fan until
really,
growing up I had a couple of them as a kid, but we were poor, so I was more GoBots.
Yeah. All right.
And I was also
where's that movie?
Fan. I was a big G.I. Joe fan.
Sure.
And it wasn't until they stopped making G.I. Joes in like '94, and then they came out with Beast Wars right around that same time. So I'm at the toy store looking for something to buy. Oh, this guy turns into a robot that turns into a gorilla. I love that kind of shit anyway, so I was all about it.
Yeah.
And I've loved it ever since. And so I'm really excited about that, them introducing those characters. And I know I mentioned you got Ron Perlman doing the voice of Optimus Primal. I think that's awesome.
That'd be good.
Gary Chalk was the voice of him in the animated series. And it was like, I don't know if you guys ever saw that animated series.
Oh, yeah.
A little bit, yeah.
But Gary Chalk as the voice of Optimus Primal was so good. So good.
He was. It sounded like him, but it was just enough to be off.
Yeah. It was not Peter Cullen, but it was.
Right.
I thought it was even better in my opinion. But that said, Ron Perlman I think will do a great job.
Oh yeah.
And I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with it. I hope it's not a mess of a story. So I hope they keep it somewhat streamlined like Bumblebee was. We'll see.
Yeah, I like Bumblebee, and I hope they kind of go that way.
Paramount said it's kind of the beginning of a new set of kind of a new trilogy, so we'll see. Hopefully it does well, and people aren't, so burnt out from the Last Night garbage that they'll be willing to give it a chance.
Right. Yeah, I hope so. No Marky Mark.
And I might say some shit about Michael Bay movies being bloated. I'm really looking forward to seeing Ambulance. I don't know if you guys have seen that trailer.
Oh yeah, yep.
But it's Jake Gyllenhaal, and that's just really good.
Oh yes, I have seen that. Yes.
Yeah. And I think that Michael Bay makes some great stuff. I mean, I love.
Oh, he does.
13 Hours.
I like Pain and Gain. Is that what that was called with The Rock? Mark Wahlberg.
The Rock, yeah.
That movie is nuts, but I loved it. I thought it was really cool. I really was surprised by that one. Yeah, he came from doing all the Transformers and then that, and it was just like, what? But yeah, I did dig that one. He's got a good eye, but yeah, he gets, too Michael Bay with all these big franchise ones. They just all become one. Really, they're not different too much. And the effects, especially. That's
and there's just so much superfluous, completely unnecessary side plots and scenes that don't belong there. And so when but he's not always like that, because again, some of his stuff is I look at 13 Hours as a perfect Michael Bay film. Yeah, because it's such tight storytelling, and maybe it's because of what he was basing it on. But,
it looked good. I never did see that, but was it? It
you
was
never
good.
Saw that one?
I didn't. It's kind of on my list. John Krasinski's in it, right?
Yep. It is good.
I need to check that one out. Yeah, I know he's capable of doing some good stuff, but yeah, the big commercial stuff is kind of off-putting. Once it gets repetitive and predictable, I guess you could say. Common traits that he goes with, but yeah. I look forward to it. I'm sure I'll be there for it. Last Night was the only one I didn't see in the theaters out of all the Transformer films, and I think it was just because just didn't get to it. It wasn't like I didn't want to see it, but then also word of mouth kind of hurt the chances there too. So
yeah, and I can't. That was the last time, and I don't remember another time where I've taken friends to a movie and then apologized right afterwards for making them sit through it.
Well, at least you didn't see it before and say, "Hey, this is fantastic. You guys are going to love this thing. It's great."
Got out of that movie and I was like, "I'm really sorry."
Well, and it was a long film, right? Too? Were they 3 hours long almost? Jeez.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was a long one.
Oh God.
Yeah, it was 2.5 hours long.
It was Anthony Hopkins just took a check, didn't he? That's all he did.
Oh man, don't.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I'm sure it'll get better, right? It has to.
Oh, yeah.
People are tired of the same taste, I guess you could say. Check out some recommendations, and then we'll be out of here. I will recommend Jackass Forever. That's an exquisite piece of cinema that, it did not get an Oscar nomination, which is bullshit. No. No, I'm a sucker for these films. Obviously, it's just turn your brain off, watch some people get hurt. Can't go wrong. It's been over 10 years since the last film, so word of mouth was what really got me to go see it. I probably would have waited otherwise, but yeah, it was just fun. It was just fun to sit down and watch some people do some stupid shit. That was entertaining, and they got new additions to the cast. They're great additions and memorable. So yeah, it was a very funny film.
So I laughed so hard at that movie. There was so much dick.
Yeah, there was.
But
spoiler.
Here's why I point that out. Yeah, spoiler. I took my 12-year-old son.
Oh.
The whole time he's like looking at me and he's just like shaking his head. And we got out of there and I was like, "What was your favorite part?" And he like told me what his favorite bit was. And I was like, "What's your least favorite part?" And then he was just like, "Everything with a penis." And then he was like, "I am so glad Mom didn't come with us to see this movie." Like, could you imagine a 12-year-old sitting there watching that with his mom next to him?
Oh God!
I laughed really hard.
Right. Oh God.
Yeah. So parent of the year award winner right here.
It's like, it's probably the last scene they're gonna do with that. Oh no, it's back. Okay. Yeah. Right.
I'm gonna follow it up by taking him to go see Caligula.
There you go.
Yeah, it was really entertaining. It was great. Yeah, me and my wife, had a date night, and it was just fun to just, not have to invest your mind into too much. Just watch people get hurt and do some crazy shit. We love the Jackass franchise, and it was a bummer that Bam Margera wasn't there, but understand why he wasn't. He's going through a bunch of drug issues, and Ryan Dunn passed away. He died I think a year after the last film. And they were close, so yeah. Unfortunately, he was going to be in it, but he didn't. I guess he broke the agreement they had with his drug use. Not to just to stay away from that shit. So he was, he was missed. Of course, Ryan Dunn was as well. But it's crazy. Most of those guys are 50 now. Isn't that nuts? It's just like, wow. It's amazing you guys are still doing this shit. Like, I'd be afraid to have a heart attack. You're getting cattle prod and
yeah. I bruised my foot stepping out of my house the other day, and I'm walking funny. Let alone the shit that they do.
Right.
I couldn't even imagine.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was like, I'd be dead if I did any of these stunts. Like, how the hell are these guys putting up with this? It's just crazy. It's crazy, but yeah. It was great. New additions to the cast were great, and I do worry about the young big guy because man,
oh yeah,
how is his heart? Jesus, he's just
enlarged.
Oh man, he's bigger than Preston was, I think. And
so I've seen a few movies in theaters, like Jackass. I mentioned the Scream one already.
Yep.
We watched. We as a family we did go to see Moonfall. Skip that.
I heard. Yep.
It was really weird, especially the scenes where people are talking or having a conversation were so rushed that it was really weird. The pacing of it was strange.
Yeah.
And there was dialogue that was straight ripped from other movies. I was like, that is and I think my daughter, my son, one of them was like, well, they're just they're playing an homage to it. And I was like, I don't know. It seemed like it was just copy. I mean, it did not seem like an homage. I mean, they were straight ripping off the Lost World dialogue. It was very weird.
God.
And then there was, what else did I see? Oh, my daughter and I went and saw Death on the Nile, which I liked Murder on the Orient Express, and I liked Death on the Nile. My favorite part of Death on the Nile was the wardrobe. The costuming was so freaking good. It's worth seeing it for the costumes alone, in my opinion. It was good in terms of that, and I liked the story. So that was
right. Cool. And they did a pretty good job. The first one, right? Murder on the Orient with the costumes,
so, yeah.
pretty damn good. Yeah. So it's just as good, you'd say, or is it better, or not as good?
I think this is better. I think that
Death
on the Nile. I think the costuming was better on this one.
I did like the Orient Express. I love those murder mystery movies, especially Knives Out. Now, do you know if there's another book in that series of Kenneth Branagh's character, the detective, right? He's got the weird mustache and these.
Hercule Poirot. But there is 40 audiobooks in a single collection, all part of that series. So he's in at least 40 of them.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Wow. I don't know if they'll make that many. I didn't know there was that many. That's insane. Did it leave it? Well, I guess the first one didn't leave it open for another one, right? So did this one leave it open for something else?
No, this one, I think this one wrapped it up pretty nicely. Yeah.
Does it? Okay. They're all standalones pretty much, sort of, right?
Yeah. And there is I found another one that's got 50 stories featuring that character in it. So now I would say there's at least 50 of them. So Kenneth Branagh could be very busy if he wanted to just keep going.
He'll be in his 90s by the time they finish. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't get up.
I watched The Kingsman just last night it's on HBO Max now, so I watched that. And like I said before we recorded, I haven't even seen the other two, but saw this one and I enjoyed this one. I thought it was a good movie. I liked it.
Yeah.
Well, if you love that, you're going to like the other two.
Excellent.
Definitely the 2014 one. That's still my favorite, but I do admire The Kingsman for, it's a different movie than the other two in many ways, but it also sets up a lot of things. I thought it was shot great. I love the cast. Definitely had some twists in there I did not see coming. And
yes, there was some great stuff in there. I was like, did that just happen?
Yeah, did not expect it. And then, I don't want to give it away, but there's an actor they put in there that they didn't really use, and I was kind of shocked. But Quicksilver, that's your hint. But yeah, I like the Kingsman series, and I think they are working on a third one of the ones that came before. So I look forward to that. Otherwise, I would be tempted to buy the Best Buy pack they have right now of all three films. Each case has like a nice just a shot on what they're wearing, so like this one's got the what do you call it, the Miss America thing that goes sideways on the on Ray Fiennes' character. What the hell you call those things?
It's not like an ascot necessarily. You're talking like the big, almost cape-like drape.
Yes.
I cannot think what the term is, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
But yeah, that case has that close up, and then you got the suit like in the 2014, and then you have the orange blazer suit for the second Kingsman film. So it's a 3-pack at Best Buy, I believe. But yeah, they're very stylish films, and they're cool. They're cool. I liked Ray Fiennes. I was shocked by how much he did in the film, honestly, because he's up there, but man, they really made him an action hero. So, which is funny because he's also from the world of Bond. But I guess they really, I don't know too much about the events for World War I, but I guess they really did their homework and tried to really fit it into the whole.
Yeah, that's probably one of the things I was most impressed with.
Yeah.
Was taking real events, like fictionalizing these real events and fitting it into the story, was really interesting. And I found myself trying not to give the kids a history lesson where I'm like, oh, hey, this is how World War I was started.
Right.
They're like, whatever. They're like, be quiet.
Yeah. It's kind of like an action-packed history lesson, They kind of play with that in the other ones, but obviously not as much because, this first film here really took place at a historical time versus a modern day, if you will. I think it was pretty good film. Yeah. What about you, Mitch? Have you seen anything lately you want to recommend?
I'll keep it short and sweet. So being the busy married guy that I am, my wife has kind of taken over Netflix, so I watched Love is Blind with her. Not necessarily a movie, but a TV show, and every once in a while, you kind of become a sucker for just really gaudy TV that just has the most masculine men that are just absolute chads, and ladies that are you could see the other side of their hair if you look through their ears. So I thoroughly enjoyed it. And
processing
would highly recommend if you are looking for something that will not create a wrinkle in your brain, but that will keep the TV on and something in the background.
There you go.
But also make you laugh in enjoyment that you have more going on and more wherewithal than they do.
It's a feel-good show.
It is. It makes you feel good.
Thanks for coming on, Jonah. Really appreciate it.
Yes.
Please plug.
Yeah, always a pleasure.
Plug your YouTube channel before you go.
Toys for all ages. My son and I, we just about a week ago, we got the Razor Crest in from from Hasbro's HasLab, and that thing is a beast. And we did we filmed an unboxing of it. I think he probably already put that on YouTube, and
Sweet.
Now we're going to do a proper review of it this weekend, probably after we've both had a chance to play around with it. But this thing is it's huge. I'll send you pictures, Josh.
Oh yeah, do that. Yeah. Oh man, I look forward to seeing that. That's awesome. I bet that was fun.
Yeah, it's very cool. So yeah, I'll share that with you. But yeah, we should have that video out here soon.
Fantastic. Well, yeah, and of course, everyone out there listening, Field of Geeks, you can pretty much find us everywhere. YouTube, trying to do some new things with that. Actual videos. Jonah beat us to it. But yeah, we're trying to get into that. So, baby steps. But yeah, that'll be a new thing. And yeah, you can find us everywhere, fieldofgeeks.com. So yeah, with that said, we will be back. I'm Josh.
I'm Mitch.
And I'm Jonah.
Take care. Thanks, guys.